Good morning. We're going to fit this little quarter panel bit at the door. You can see where the bolts have got to go, so we'll put some good sealant and stuff around here, some bit of dum-dum, and get that lined up best we can. We'll line that up on the existing holes. Obviously we're going to have to weather seal in there with some dum-dum tape, I reckon. But obviously that leaves a big gap up there, so I don't know what you're supposed to put down there. You could do with a whole bit of rubber trim really, but obviously that want to go tight to the door to seal the door in. So we're in a touch of a dilemma. We're in a touch of a dilemma here because I think that's supposed to obviously screw up against that. So if we put the rubber on as though that's going to screw up against there. I suppose that would work, wouldn't it? But where the bolts are, at the bottom here, they don't line up, because obviously with the new chassis this is a little bit further that way, so you would have to pull this over to there, you see, and have a huge gap, which is obviously too much, but gives a good door seal, but obviously pulls that back out there. So I think if we sort of go between the two, so it's like that, and line it up with the edge of that rubber. Obviously that's got to go down to there as well. How annoying. It actually looks not bad like that. Let's go push up a little bit. So the rubber on the door obviously fits quite well there. And the line isn't too bad. Obviously that'll push up there, and we're nearly on the holes. I want to be about there, I think. About there would be good. The door shut like a twisted Landrover. That's obviously left quite a big gap, which I'm not so happy about. I really want to be there like that. Then of course we have quite a big gap here. Let's just see. It's got to go up a little bit, hasn't it? Stay in line with that door there. Something's a little bit out of square, hasn't it? Yeah, I don't think that'll look too bad, but we need to obviously find a good wire sealing in there, and obviously fixing as well is going to be an issue now. But that is where that'll have to go. But if you can see that, that should, in theory, be a bit closer. Well, let's just put that up. Oh, a bit too tight now. Be careful you don't scratch anything. YRM rubbers, really good. They've been a good help, that YRM Metal Solutions. They've been a good help to me on the project. They know what they're talking about, them guys. And that's just got to push up a little bit. So it's not going to be a million miles out there, I don't think. You see that? The door's slightly higher than there anyway. And that is a Landrover, after all said and done, so it's always a little bit of a nightmare, isn't it? But that doesn't look too bad there, I must admit. So that's as good as it's going to get on. Well, it's not, unfortunately. It's not that bad. Well, that is that bad. Because when you push it up to the door, you've got a huge gap here and up there, you see. Well, I suppose as always, that's Landrovers for you, but this tub and the other tub is about 4 mil difference, believe it or not. It's just unreal, isn't it? Probably if you bought some new ones of these, they'd be slightly bigger as well, maybe, but never mind. That's a pity. What you couldn't get is just a square door. I'd love to be able to buy a square door, and then this problem wouldn't even be there. You could have thrown them bits away and that door would have come down there a treat. But this is what we got, so we're going to have to make it fit as usual. It's what you've got to do with Land Rovers, make things fit. But it's not going to be the end of the world. And it's all not going to be perfect either. This rubber's a bit loose, but the water's going to run down here anyway, so it ain't going to be too bad. And as long as the rubber's tight up here, you see, that's the main thing. So I think we can go with that. Actually had a change of plan. What I was doing is completely wrong. That needs to bolt up down this side because that fixes through there, and we'll have to have that rubber like that, which actually looks okay. So I'm gonna have to drill some more holes now. So you need to bolt through there, you see, self-tap through there. So there's really no way round it. Leaving a gap down there would just be rubbish. So just fit it properly. What I've done is just slightly piloted holes them, because these are the self-tappers I'm going to use. Obviously we need to put a little bit of dum-dum down here, a little tiny seal of that. So we'll do that now. I might, yeah, we'll do that. I was going to think of using dodo sheet, but obviously it's got that metal bit there, so that would be no good really. What I've done here is stretched the dodo tape so it's really thin, so you wouldn't notice it. But that will keep the water out from around them holes. Is exactly what I want to do. Fixed down that side. Bit of dum-dum in this top bit to keep it nice. So now what we've got to do is fix this bottom bit. We'll have to seal behind there as well. Perfect. I've got to obviously drill these holes again because it should fit. Might have to loosen that one off and just bring it back to level that side up. It took a lot of messing around, but it's in, so you have to make sure you just do it properly. I don't know why I was trying to put a gap in it to start with, but that is how you fit it. On this one we haven't got the door rubber angle on it, so I'm just going to get a piece of stainless steel angle and rivet that to this, so we can then fit this one. This one must have been a replacement at some point, so we can't fit this at the moment. Although we can mark it up and drill all the holes and get everything ready. So we're on the other side, we're just marked up where the self tappers are going to go up there, and marked up where the sill's got to be drilled. The other thing I'm going to mention is when that sit around like that, you've got a little gap up there, so you really need to fill the inside of that with dum-dum to make sure no water runs down, because obviously it's going to sit there like that and you're going to have water run down there. So I stuffed a load of dum-dum in the other one on the other side. Now if you push that in nice and tight there, look, that seals that up perfectly. You can't really notice it, but you need to do that. So that's the holes drilled for the bottom of that corner piece, painted, and we've got the self tappers in for up there. We'll put a little bit of dum-dum, really thin around them, ready for when that's got to be fitted. So you can see there we've got that quarter pit in, waiting for these the inner and the outer door weather seals from YRM or YRM, and the special bit that goes up here. I've got the glass, but obviously I can't fit it until I get those bits. In the meantime, I was going to get a sill off YRM, because they do a good aluminium sill, about 3 or 4 mil thick. It's about £300, that would be nice really. But then I wanted to get a rock slider, just in case, just to protect the vehicle really if you did drive over something silly. So I've been looking at all these different rock sliders, and to be fair, they all seem absolute rubbish really. Heavy duty does not mean heavy duty, that means shit. So what I'm doing is making up some templates so we can weld this up ourselves. So what I'm going to do with these plates, this plate steel, I'm thinking about doing a stainless steel one, but I'm not too sure yet. So I'm going to use some 6mm plate and a piece of box was 40 by 80 by 5mm thick, and that will be super heavy duty. So I'll just show you what I've done so far. What I've done so far is made up these little templates. So this is the one that goes on the back of the nut for the bulkhead. Sorry. So that'll push right over there, and I've put that top nut in because obviously you don't want this twisting at all. You want to hold that nice and tight, and that needs to be, there's 3mm past this gap, so we need to know that measurement for our next bracket. The reason we need to know that 3mm is for when this bracket goes on, 2 12mm bolts in there. I've seen these made like this. I was going to cover the whole lot here, but then I thought, well, that's unnecessary, but I might do, because I think there's a bit of extra strength to come on tucking it under there really. But then at the end of the day, it's on these bolts anyway. We will probably have to trim the top off there, and again that's 3mm from there. But this bracket there will now fit on all the rest of these, with the hole in the same place, you see. So we made these templates up so we can make something up. So you've got, I'm going to put these either side of the outriggers. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this one here, and I think that's going to be plenty, to be honest with you. But like I say, I was thinking about possibly making it a little bit stronger, but I'm not too sure. See, I've also made this bracket which is a bit wider there, and just, that other bracket's got to be modified, so it just tucks in under there and comes out to there, you see. But I just need to make a measurement. So what I need to do is make a measurement, because our piece of steel will be 80mm thick, you see, and that'll sit right on the bottom of the bit of steel. Well, maybe not right on the bottom. Let's have a measure from this. It's 30mm from there, 30mm from there, 70mm to the bottom. That's 10mm there, so that would probably touch there. So it wouldn't be, it'd probably be 75mm, something like that. We'll have to put a straight edge along there. So we could have it like that, you see, or we could make it a bit of a simpler method like this, but then we'd have to trim. Obviously we're not cutting anything on the chassis as always. So if we had that there, we'd either have to space it with another shorter piece behind it. So this spaces out 6 mil. So you'd have 2 pieces of steel behind there. If we make it like this, you see. We'd have to just have a little bit of a space behind there, which isn't a bad thing. Or we make it like this, with a bit of a 90-degree bend in it when we cut it. All depends what steel we've got laying around, I suppose. But I will have to buy some box stainless. So what I was thinking of doing with the stainless is maybe polishing it, so it goes with the handles and stuff. Or so you could have a piece of stainless across the bottom there. It'd look quite cool, wouldn't it? So that's the next step, really. We've also got this job to do to give us an ignition feed at our caravan socket. You can see there it's a 30 amp 40 amp relay. They're the 2 wires to switch. They're the 2 wires what's switching our 40 amp supply or 30 amp supply. And well, you need a 20 amp supply yet technically. And these are the 2 control wires, which is coming from the radio supply, which is ignition. And I'm just waiting for some inline fuses to come now, so we can finish that off. So there's our small cable, which does the switching of the relay on the ignition. This is the wire that goes back to the 13-pin plug. Oh, that's just these are just cables that are made up ready. So this one will screw down on there to give us a permanent feed, and this will obviously be our earth cable, which will go to an earth stud somewhere. So we can maybe do that when, well, we're just waiting on them inline fuses for that. So we can do that, and we're just waiting on parts again like usual. So we'll get back tomorrow. Morning. So I did find some sheet steel up to do this. I forgot to bring it with me. So I've got some 6 mil thick stainless that I can make these plates out of. Obviously I've got to order that box, so we can do that job when we get to it for the rock sliders. And I did get me inline fuses, so we'll complete the electrics on the caravan socket, and that's what we'll do now. There's our piece of 6 mil or 5 to 6 mil sheet of stainless. Obviously I've still got to buy that box, but I can cut out what I need from the cardboard. Plenty of bits for what I need. So we've fitted the relay down there. We've got these fuse holders, but something I didn't check is that they actually take the newer style, smaller fuse, so I can't put the fuses that I've got in it. So that's a bit of a mess up, but it's nothing major really. So we've got our feed in on that spare way there. That goes to the relay, which is crimped there, look, with the fuse. The outgoing of the relay goes to the cable that goes to the back of the 13-pin plug. And then this cable, which will control the switching, or the coil of the relay, will go on the white and the yellow cable. And obviously the yellow cable will go to earth. We can just crimp that there like that, and that'll be quite a tidy job. Now the control ignition wire, which is coming from, I'm going to piggyback from the radio fuse. I'm also going to put an inline fuse on just to protect it and to give it a bit of discrepancy, and also you can isolate it then if you need to. Let's just tie up them together, and this one is going to this earth point there, And that's that complete. Just got to get these couple of smaller fuses to go in there. One will be a 20 amp and one will be like a 2 amp. There we are, all complete. So that is the trailer electrics complete for any trailer, 7-pin plug, and any trailer with a 13-pin plug plus a caravan. So we can tow anything now. While I've been in here, I found this fuse holder, which I don't know what's for. I mean, the engine run and everything. And this orange and brown cable is, believe it or not, an ignition feed. So maybe I could have used that to energise my relay here. That makes me wonder what this brown wire is for. Does anybody know? So there we are, we've got a 20 amp one that'll go back to the 13 amp plug and a 2 amp one just to control the relay. All sorted. So we should be able to hear that click when we put the ignition on. Well, you couldn't hear it, but I could feel it when I'd done it. So that's that done. So that's good. Just waiting on our mud flood LED for the light bar to plug in there, and then the light bar will work. And we're just waiting for the window screen heater to come in the window screen to put that in. So, and obviously waiting for some bits to come for this. I'm waiting for S&P panels to send the door back so we can get that painted, and then I can get both panels, both front doors on. I've ordered some of these little internal light switches as well for that, and the light bar does work. The light bar does. So our switch will obviously switch that like that. That is the light bar on till we get the mud switch anyway and do it properly. Well, that is all we've got time for today. Oh, the light is staying on now. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll get some more bits and can do some more bits on the Landrover.